Can I just be real with you? This Reflections of the Becoming series, it was supposed to start yesterday, and yet here we are today. And instead of feeling bad about it, putting myself down about it, or apologizing, I just want to talk about it. So let's get into it. I decided this was going to be the year that I dedicated myself to video. And I decided YouTube was going to be the place for it. Then I took a master class with one of my favorite coaches, Glow, and she gave us a challenge to show up on YouTube for a year. And the other option was to show up for 100 days. And I was so serious about this challenge, I decided this is the year. We're going for a year, but I'm going to break this down into smaller increments so that the year doesn't feel like a heavyweight champ is on my back. So I'm going in, right? We are 9 days away, or actually 8 days away from me hitting 30 days. And if I can just tell you, this has not been perfect by any kind of means. Here's what I thought coming into this. I originally thought I was going to hate it, honestly, because me and video, we just never really got along. Okay. Video is not my thing. I don't enjoy it. I critique myself way too hard on the way that I look on camera. That's a story for a whole nother day. Anywho, I don't like video. I just have never, it's never been a vibe for me. And since I've started doing YouTube, surprisingly, I love making video. Heavy on the love, okay? I actually realized that just within this short amount of time of just recording something every day, I've recorded long form, I've done some shorts. And in doing both of those formats, I realized that I actually love long form content, mainly because I got a lot to say. But I am having so much fun talking to you, connecting with you, making these videos for you. It is my act of service, and I'm actually enjoying it for the first time ever. So that was a surprise to me, okay? I was shocked and shooketh. I was not expecting this at all. It totally caught me off guard. Let me share with you a couple of other perspectives that have really changed and shifted the way that I'm moving and showing up visibly. Because me and visibility, it was not a vibe. But now we're going to be pretty good friends here. But one of those changes is actually redefining my definition of consistency, because I used to think that consistency just meant showing up in a perfectionist type of a way every single day, like showing up, being perfect. But really, I've leaned away from the perfection aspect of it and really just realizing that it's just about showing up imperfectly, showing up flaws and all. So, making these videos, I don't do a whole lot of editing. I'm recording this, and my goal is to record it. Maybe I will make a few adjustments, chip chop a few things here and there. Chip chop, what is that? Okay, anyway, I will do some light editing, and my goal is to get it published every day. And the less editing I do, the more that I can actually achieve that goal. So these videos that you'll see here, it's going to be very light editing. I'm not doing a whole lot, but I'm not going for a huge production. I really want more of a connection when we come together for these videos. So in doing that, consistency now looks like showing up as is. And that feels really good. And it's so much more sustainable. And it also has allowed me to take myself off the hook. So it's okay if I fumble some words because this is me thinking through my thoughts in real time. This is more like a conversation instead of just me rolling through a script and reading everything to you word for word. So even if I make a misstep, it's okay. I can grant myself some grace and carry on because this is human. This is what it means to show up and just be real and honest and vulnerable. So, this is just me allowing myself the space and the room to be able to just connect and not be so in my head about things, but more so be in my heart, which is one of the things that I think is so important about what it is that I do as a coach. As I help you to drop out of your head and into your heart, it's an amazing reminder that I give to myself as well. So it still applies to me, okay? So just allows me to give myself credit for showing up because I think a lot of times we set our sights on a goal. There's something big that we want to achieve, something huge that we're trying to build. And we don't really give ourselves credit until we've accomplished the goal. When there's so many milestones that you're making along the way that don't get the kind of shine that they deserve because you haven't reached your ultimate outcome. And when we are so outcome driven, we rob ourselves of so much credit that we could be giving ourselves along the way just for showing up, just for putting in the work, just for taking it one step further or even a baby step further. So, this is allowing me to really celebrate the progress that I'm making every single day and not just waiting until I've achieved a certain status or a certain number of videos or a certain days that I've been in it. It's not about that. It's more about me just giving myself credit for whatever I show up and do and being able to celebrate that type of progress as I'm going, I think is what's really helping me to build even more momentum and excitement around creating videos. So if you're showing up in a new season or in a new space, where can you grant yourself more grace to not perform or maybe show up even as you had envisioned or imagined it to look like? But where can you give yourself more credit for even just showing up imperfectly? Even if you made a misstep or things didn't quite turn out the way that you envisioned when you started working on this big goal, where can you grant yourself more grace and give yourself more credit? So, as you go forward, I really encourage you to grant yourself some grace, give yourself some space to even recognize things that you're learning about yourself throughout this process of going on this journey to accomplish the goals that you've set out. Because one of my favorite quotes by Tony Robbins, and I'm going to paraphrase, but he says something to the effect of, it's not about what you accomplish, it's about who you become. And this process of me showing up on video, that quote could not be more descriptive of how I feel, even about myself. I am learning so much about me throughout this process. I'm learning more about what I love to teach, what I love to share. And it's been quite the surprise. Especially just realizing that, you know what? Video is not my arch nemesis. It is not my kryptonite. But it's also showing me how much I've grown to be able to even have the courage to accept a challenge like showing up on a platform for a year or embarking out on this first 100 days. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm 8 days away from my first 30-day mark. And has it been perfect? Absolutely not. Have I made some mistakes? Have I missed a day here and there? Listen, life does not care that I set this goal. Life has still been doing its thing, and it did knock me off my path for a little bit because when I first started out, I started out strong. I was hitting it every day, and then life was like, hold that thought. I got something for you." But even though life was still life and doing its thing, I was able to pick myself up and still continue and still move forward. And so I hope that you know that as you work towards your goals, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get every single thing right every single day. That's not what consistency is about. Consistency is about having the courage to show up and the resilience to keep going, even when life shows up, even if you have a misstep, even if something comes along that slows down your momentum, or even if you're not showing up perfectly every single time. It's about showing up, doing your best, and giving yourself credit for everything that you are doing because 10 times out of 10, you're doing so much more than you're giving yourself credit for. And I love to help you recognize all of the ways that you're winning, even if you're not crossing that finish line just yet. You are making progress, you are hitting milestones, and we can do this together, flaws and all, honey, missteps and all. So tune in because every week I'm going to be sharing with you new insights, new reflections that I'm recognizing about myself in this process. And that's what Reflections of the Becoming is all about. And I hope that it will inspire you to start making note of the reflections that you recognize within yourself and the progress that you're making as you're working towards your goals. Okay. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have started something new or you are showing up in a new way or a new space, drop me a comment below. I can't wait to hear what it is that you have started or you're showing up in a new way, in a new space. Fill me in. I want to know all about it so that I can cheer for you just as I'm cheering for me too. Okay? And I'll see you in the next video.